The next metric we'll take a look at is liquidity. This is heavily related to trading volume. So liquidity is a measurement of how easily a coin can be bought or sold. One could consider a liquid asset to be one that you have no issue selling at its market value. Now, illiquid assets or illiquid markets can prove to be inconvenient when trying to sell a coin at a fair price. Either there are no buyers willing to make a purchase at the price, or no sellers willing to sell at the given price. There's not enough people interested in either buying or selling the coin. Now, illiquid market scenarios may force traders to alter their expectations and either lower the price to attract buyers or increase their ask price to attract sellers. Essentially, here we see either they're selling it for less, they have to lower the price to attract the buyer, or they have to increase their buy price to attract somebody to actually sell it. Now, liquidity can also be viewed in terms of trading volume, where a asset pair with a high trading volume, let's say ETH to the US dollar, there's about $20 billion being traded. We would consider that a much more liquid asset pair compared to the Smartlands trading example that we saw before, where there was only $50,000 traded in a 24-hour period. Let's take a closer look at a comparison between these two assets. So here we see Ethereum, once again, $23 billion trading volume in the past 24 hours. If we were to go to Coinbase, here is what the order book of Ethereum would look like. Here we see the market size and the overall size of the orders placed and the prices that they're placed at. So pretty much this is in terms of dollars, and we see there's a significant amount of Ethereum. This is actually measured in actual Ethereum itself. So there's about 1,000 Ethereum being placed to be purchased at $2,271. So this we would actually consider, wow, there's actually a lot of Ethereum being requested to be purchased at these prices, and a lot of Ethereum requested to be sold at these prices. We also see the trade history. There's multiple trades going off every second. And these probably aren't even just only people. These could be replicated by bots. There could be bots trading. There's a lot of action essentially that we can see going on with Ethereum. Taking a look at Smartlands. Once again, Smartlands only has a $50,000 trading volume, a 24-hour trading volume. Let's take a look at what Smartlands order book looks like. So here are examples of the Smartlands to XLM order book, and this is on the Lobster wallet. This would be traded directly on the Stellar network itself. Here we see there's a variety of prices that Smartlands would be traded at. So this would be Smartlands being sold in terms of Ethereum, in terms of XLM. Here we see if you wanted to buy XLM, it would cost 15.433 XLM per XLM. Here is the amount that you would actually get per SLT and the total XLM that are actually being sold, that it's actually being sold for. So as you can see, there's a great price difference between all these different orders. It's not as smooth as we saw on Coinbase in the Ethereum example, where every single dollar there was multiple orders and there was constantly orders being filled. Here we see the same thing with these sell prices as well, and the amounts. There's greater deviation in the prices. Here we see from 15.68 XLM per Smartlands, and here we also see the next highest one would be 15.79 XLM per smart land. So there's a greater deviance in between the actual valuation of what you would actually be filling when you were to place an order, either to buy or sell. Next up, let's take a look at exchange supply shortages and liquidity. So when trading crypto on a centralized exchange such as Binance or Coinbase, you're actively trading within a closed ecosystem of coins available on that exchange. Now, if the amount of available coins for a specific market, let's say Ethereum on Coinbase, were to fall to extreme lows, the supply shortage could have an impact on the valuation of the remaining coins on the exchange if demand remains the same or if it increases. So here we see the price of Bitcoin for the past year from early January 2021 into early January 2022, the price of Bitcoin in green. And we also see the supply on exchanges, particularly as shown as a percentage of the total supply of Bitcoin. So we have seen, particularly in pink, the supply on exchanges typically throughout 2021 was about, the highest points it reached was about 14%. So 14% of all Bitcoin, of that 18.8 million Bitcoin in existence, 14% of that was available on exchanges. We see that that figure has steadily decreased throughout the course of 2021, where it's reached an extreme low of about 11%, give or take. And correlating with that, we also see as the supply has decreased, the price has gone up, as long as demand is the same. The supply, the amount available has decreased, and the price has increased. Demand has also increased. We also saw that this was a major bull cycle from mid to late July into late October, early November. Now, as demand for Bitcoin has decreased, we've also seen that the prices have fallen, but the supply available on exchanges has continued to diminish even throughout the price downtrend. So this is a figure to keep an eye on, because as or if demand for Bitcoin were to turn around and were to increase, there's even less supply available. Here's the same example seen for Ethereum. So Ethereum is in green, and the price of Ethereum is in green, and the supply of Ethereum on exchanges as its total supply is in pink. Once again, we see as over time throughout 2021, the supply has steadily decreased. We see particularly in early November a dramatic drop, a dramatic fall, probably the most severe drop, from about 15.5% to a low of about maybe 13.5%. So about 2% of Ethereum was suddenly taken off in this time period. But overall, we've seen decreases from near 20%, maybe 19%, all the way down to 13.5% that we see available. Now, we do see here price has gone up throughout 2021. We saw a major peak of about 4,000, give or take, in April, a severe drop correlating with Bitcoin going into Q2, Q3 2021, and then finally reversal until July. The supply has continued to diminish over this period of time. Now, in late November, early December, we do see Ethereum follow Bitcoin in its downtrend, its current downtrend, where the current price is about $2,265. This is down from its all-time high of about $4,800 per Ethereum. We also see there seems to have been a bottoming out effect, where this is a current extreme low for the supply of Ethereum available on exchanges, but it does seem to be somewhat increasing We'll have to see for more updated figures to see where this metric lies in terms of how it's performing in January 2022. But for now, from what we're able to access and what's being processed, but from sentiment, we do see a slight increase in the supply of Ethereum on exchanges as the price has gone down.